welcome to Auditorium is going to be full to capacity for this final exhibition game between the Moscow Dynamo and the Buffalo.
Number 5, Vasily Bukovan. At defense, number 17.
TSN. Ceremonial exchange of pennants at center ice between the two captains. And we're just about ready to get this hockey evening in Buffalo underway. The men in charge of proceedings tonight, the referee, Viktor Gubernatorov of the Soviet Union, his linesman from the NHL, Bob Hodges and Dan McCourt. And the starting goaltenders for the Moscow Dynamo, Vladimir Mishkin, the Soviet first-team All-Star. Fourth start of the tour, he has won 1-1, and his goals against average is 3.66. At the other end of the ice for the Bafffalo Сейбрз, the rookie Jacques Clutje, up from the minors for his fourth game with Buffalo. A record of 1 win, 2 losses in 3 appearances, and his goals against average in Rochester, 2.94. I think that's the way you have to get the upper hand on the Soviets. Andreychuk, Foligno, and Ruff. The forward front for the Bafffalo Сейбрз, his action is underway. That's Ruff. Clearing it to the right side boards. Foligno dumps it into the Soviet zone. Richie Dunn pinching in, and Dunn played it behind the goal. Dunn going after it once more. Foligno tried to lay a check on the Soviet out there. Svetlov avoided most of the body that time. Back into the Soviet zone. Bilyuleta now, 17. Over for Yashin on the left wing. And the play broken up just at the line by Dunn, but the Soviets come back in. This is Svetlov. Svetlov couldn't take a retest, and it's down into the Sabres zone. Soviets keep it in at the line. And now the Sabres get it out across and down into Soviet territory where Gluchenkov takes over for the Moscow Dynamo. 2-on-2 for the Dynamo now. At the Sabre line, play broken up by Verta, Anu Verta, number 3 for the Sabres. Now Antipov and Verta slide to the ice in the corner. Jammed in along the boards. And Sealing is there for the Sabres, now loose behind the net. Verta claims it for Buffalo. Sealing banking off the boards. Antipov took a shot. Back to the line, winding up with a shot. It was blocked. That was Payantanov, number 24. Sabres get it out to neutral territory. Gluchenkov. Back there, Varyanov winding up for the Soviets. Shadowed by Sear, he got it to Farudinov. This is Skirdak. Skirdak tried to get it through for Farudinov, and going back for it is Halkidas for the Sabres into the corner. Dynamo controlling the shot. First save of the game for Klutje. Victor Skirdak. Sabres to the attack with Sear to the Soviet line, and he's ridden out, that time by Bosakov. Farudinov now for the Soviets to the Buffalo line. Farudinov takes the shot. Klutje down to make the save.
John, they better get a whistle fast here. The Sabres don't seem to get the body into the game at all. Here's a good check here.
That was Foligno. Antipov now takes a check. They're listening to you, Jerry. Housley tried to keep it in. Soviets controlling in the Sabre zone. Pass on the left side. This is Sashai, number 15. Check by Housley. Housley couldn't get it across the line. Soviets control once more. Borshevetsky out in front. Saved by Klutje. That one might have been going a little wide. What do you think?
Well, you can't take any chances in this game, too. It happened so quickly, too. As you can see here, the Soviets make a lateral across the ice, and Klutje was smart enough to read this, got over, made a great glove save, and you can't take chances on missing net or not, especially that close.
Not great scoring opportunities as yet. But as you said, the Sabres really didn't seem to get into the game their first couple of shifts. They weren't really taking the body.
What was evident to me in the first couple of shifts was the strength of the Soviets. Not only upper body, but the strength within their skates.
Yashin, Barnikov, and Svedlov. The forward front for the Soviets. Kicked out across the line, Yashin. Back for Gluchenkov. Back to Yashin. This is Barnikov, 22. Good hit. Right at center ice. They were feeling. Verda plays it over to the left side boards. There's Gilles Perreault. Perreault playing it into the corner. Tucker comes out with it. Tucker out in front, takes the shot. Michigan is down. It's behind him. But it's whistled down. It just trickled in behind Michigan, but it didn't quite get across the line.
Tucker's a very talented goal scorer. You can tell on that last series of plays there, he just held on to it and forced Michigan to come up with a good play here. He'll walk out of the corner, Tucker, and he'll hold. And Michigan did get a leg or a glove on it and was managed to
it's in behind him.
it.
Pretty good hit.
A good hit right here.
Center ice.
Soviet just got his eye on it about a fraction of a second, or else it could have been lights out for him too, but they need more of those to get into this game.
Barnikov taking the hit that time. Face off of the Soviet zone. Sabres to the attack, but the out in front shot. And another one, whistled just wide. First shot from Sean McKenna. Here's McKenna again, goes to the backhand. And it was blocked by Evgeny Popian. Here come the Soviets. Zubrilchev, 18. Got around the check from Ramsey. Out in front, good opportunity and a good hit. Klutye didn't have to make the save. The hit supplied that time by Ramsey. Trying to work out in front. The Sabres playing a loose puck. 3-on-2, they dump it into the corner. McKenna didn't see it. Zubrilchev went to an open wing and went too far. Scoreless in the first period. The Dynamo and the Bafffalo Сейбрз. 15 minutes and 14 seconds to go in the opening period. And the makings of a pretty good hockey game at War Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo.
Look what just popped up. The new Sony Handycam. A video camera recorder so tiny, it fits in one hand. To capture every move and hear every sound. Just point and shoot and catch all the fun. The new Sony Handycam. Where will it pop up next?
John Wells along with Jerry Cheevers and Jim Van Horn in Buffalo. Scoreless between the Dynamo and the Sabres. Early in the period, Michigan had to make a big save right off the faceoff. Loose at the side of the net, claimed by the Soviets. This is Bilyaletdinov. And on the left wing, and it bounces all the way down. Sliding past Klutye. A little bit about Jacques Klutye. Have you noticed anything in his style so far?
Well, he stayed up on a couple of the Soviet shots, too. He's a little guy, and he really can't afford to go down, especially against a Soviet team who can put him up top awful quick. But the last play in the Soviet end would come as a result of losing a draw. Andrechuk won it clean back to the point, and Michigan was forced to make a pretty good save.
Andy Bomb at center ice for the Soviets. Out there, number 24. Soviets from the faceoff, out of their zone. This is Sashov. Sashov across the line. Anipov couldn't come up with it for the Moscow Dynamo. Sabres start back. Good back checking by Anipov. Forced Lacombe off the puck, number 32. One of a couple of rookies in the Sabre lineup against the Dynamo tonight. 32, Norman Lacombe. Andrechuk takes the shot, fired well wide. Couldn't keep it in at the line. Dunn did control it, got it over to an open wing. The Soviets claim it there. This is Sashov. Back for Pietrov. Now the Soviets with a big line out there. This is Svedlov, 14, offside at the Buffalo line.
Twice events of the first 6 minutes, John, the Buffalo seemed to have got caught up in some poor changes, and the Soviets recognize this. They're going to take advantage of it, too, and they've left the whole far side of the ice open, and with the speed of the Soviets, it could be fatal to them.
One thing that's interesting is in international hockey, or the style the Soviets play, there are fewer whistles, so you have to change a little bit more on the go. Maybe that's catching the Sabres off guard a little bit.
Well, they're going to pay for it if it keeps happening.
They'll try and make some adjustments, no doubt. Into the corner after it goes Anderson. For Buffalo, this is Sealing. Sealing takes a check from Klutье. Out in front, Michigan clear to the side. Sabres forced to retreat. And control couldn't get it out across the line. Barnikov going in, number 22. Cleared it out front, Svetlov. And not his chance. Chance for the Buffalo Sabres now. Tucker going in. A little too deep that time. Sabres do control. This is Sealing. Now in behind, Tucker taking a check from Bozakov. Barnikov. Tried to feed it through for Svetlov. It's into the Sabre zone. And back for it is Joe Ricci. Gilles Hamil now for Buffalo. Let it get away from him. And the Soviets start back. Yashin for Svetlov. To the line. And standing up at the line making the check was McKenna. Loose again in the neutral territory. McKenna pokes it across. Alkidas now for Buffalo. In behind the net, cleared out in front. Nicely done that time by Playfair, but no one for the Sabres. This is Antipov playing it out for Leonov. Shot. That time from Zubrelchev, and it's up and over the board. Face-off just outside the Buffalo line. It is scoreless in the opening period. The Sabres and the Moscow Dynamo. Final game of the Dynamo's North American tour. Sabres get it to the line. McKenna had his shot blocked by Perbukin. Playfair into the corner after it. Now McKenna. He's tied up behind the net by Bilyuletinov. Comes to McKenna. McKenna, good move to get away from one Soviet player. Tipped it out front, and Playfair didn't have a play. Antipov dumps it over on the left wing. It goes all the way down. And icing will be called against the Dynamo.
The Sabres had something going in the last flurry there, and they got unlucky. The Soviet referee got in the way, but we're looking at Mike Ramsey now, and I think he can't help.
Players look forward to their first occasion of playing them, but when you've got a memory like Ramsey's of that gold medal that year, it must be kind of special to play them tonight. This is Housley getting it ahead on the right wing, and it's just dumped in, racing after it. Ruff couldn't come up with it. Soviets with Skurduk now. Winding up, Skurduk just dumps it in. Klutье played it, head for Ruff, and Ruff got it back into the neutral zone. Skurduk back in a hurry. Farudnov couldn't take the pass. Housley to the line, and not very deep. Soviets dumped it in again there, Jerry. They don't do that very often.
Well, they're adjusting to North American hockey very quickly.
Scoreless in the first, the Moscow Dynamo and the Buffalo Sabres. From the faceoff in the Soviet zone, it's cleared all the way around by Bozakov. And racing after it is Verta. Verta pass on the left wing, but the Soviets controlling the Sabre zone at least momentarily. Perot couldn't take a pass, nicely intercepted by Borshevetsky. This is Gilles Perot. Perot around one check at center ice, got to the line, couldn't carry it across. Ricci now. Ricci takes a pretty good hit from Borshevetsky. It comes to Gilles Perot. Perot tried to get it out front. It's back to the line. Back in for Perot. And he couldn't play it. Moving up Ricci to play it into the corner. Taken there by Michael Anderson. And it's held along the boards. We'll have a face-off. Down in the Dynamo zone. Michael Anderson, member of the Swedish national team a couple of years ago, just back from the Canada Cup. And he played for the Swedish juniors in Hamilton last week. Face-off will be to the right of Vladimir Mishkin.
Just watching Kroll in that last shift, he picks up against the Soviet team.
He's a beautiful skater, looks effortless out there. Held along the boards, now it comes loose. And the Soviets start up ice. Varnikov, Svetlov, Yashin. Yashin the backhand, save Klutye. Svetlov. Extra attention for him. Now Yashin dumped out in front. Sabres trying the left side. Sear pokes it into the Soviet zone. Backcourt is Pervukin, number 5. Something we have been accustomed to seeing is the Soviets icing the puck a great deal.
I think that was their 4th ice in this period, John. The Sabres should be very conservative against the line of Svetlov, Yashin, and Varnikov, too. And
you're right about that. That's the top 3 scorers.
They're a terrific line, and they got caught in a 3-2 Sabres, and unfortunately, the Soviets messed up the play somewhat in the Sabres' end, too. But you got to be conservative against that particular line, or you're going to get stung.
Antipov is out there at center ice for the Soviets. This is Leonid. Leonid dropped it at the line. Miscue there as Zubrilchev didn't read it properly. Mike Foligno for Buffalo can't control it. Now Zubrilchev gets it in across the Sabres line into the corner. And it's taken out of harm's way by Andreychuk, 25. Now Housley. Ahead for Andreychuk. 2-on-2. Good opportunity for the Sabres as they cross the line. Play fair. Couldn't make the play. Antipov starts back for the Dynamo. Antipov left it at the line. Cleared out in front. Foligno was the only player there. Klutye forced to play it. Now play fair. Good check on Foligno by Gluchenkov, 18. This is Perut now for the Soviets. Got across the line, not deep. Picked up now by Skurduk. He plays it back behind the line. This is Joe Ricci, the rookie. First shot blocked. Cleared it out in front. It ricocheted. Mishkin had to make the save. Ricci took the shot. And Sealing got a piece of it, I think. Mishkin had to make a play.
Mishkin made a fine save here, but Ricci made the whole play here, the young defenseman for the Sabres. He has a shot block, walks in on the left boards and directs it at the net. There's a tip. Mishkin falls back into the net and smothers it, too. That was good experience on Mishkin's part, too. A young goaltender might have got messed up the play, too. But Mishkin, knowing that there could have possibly been a tip, falls back and smothered the play.
Scoreless in the first with 8 minutes, 8 seconds to play. Moscow Dynamo, Bafffalo Сейбрз. That's John Tucker, number 7. He's worked well so far. Tucker gloved that ahead. But it goes to Perutnov. Now Perot takes a shot well wide of the target. Falls on it. Mishkin. Yuri Moiseev is the head honcho with this Moscow Dynamo team.
I wonder if he's allowed to go back if they lose this game tonight and have a losing series.
I think they'll let him into the country, but they may have moved the furniture out of his apartment or something. From the face-off, it's back to Verta. He had one shot and another. The first one blocked, the second one wide. Perot in there working along the boards behind the net. Sabres try and get Tucker out front. Working out in front. That time was Norman Lacombe, 32. Another of the new faces in the Sabre lineup. Antipov can't take a long pass. It goes all the way down. And Riki touches it.
I think it's a good sign for the Sabres that they're doing a good job in the Soviet end.
Face off in the Soviet zone. That's Anderson going to the corner after it. Out in front, McKenna can't get a shot away. He was tied up by Svetlov. Fans would like a penalty on that. Would you have blown the whistle?
Well, the only reason because Michigan froze it there too, but you know, he waved off like no goal or no penalty. I don't know what it was. It wasn't close to being a goal.
Well, I mean, that was safe, he was saying.
Yeah.
Anderson with Sear on the left side. Puck in behind the Soviet net and cleared quickly. That's Ramsey. Ramsey over on the right wing. Got it across. It was offside. McKenna was there.
Sabres have done a pretty good job so far in this period bottling them up. They've maybe had one or two rushes that were dangerous, the Soviet too, but you can't make mistakes. You have to be consistent with this system or else they'll sting you.
Soviets with that big line out there once more. Yashin with Varnikov and Svetlov. Three leading scorers for the Dynamo on this tour. Sabres a miscue, but they got it out. And it crossed two lines.
The Sabres should make sure they always have a third guy back against this line of Svetlov, Varnikov, and Yashin.
Yashin has 7 points, and so does Svetlov in the 3 games in the series so far. They'll bring the faceoff inside the Sabre line, scoreless in the first. Moscow Dynamo against the Baffalo Сейбрз. Phil Housley banking it off the boards. And ahead for Lindy Ruff. Ruff couldn't control it. This is Gluchenkov. He lost it. It trickled out in front of the net. Sabres didn't get an opportunity out of it. Now Yashin. This is Svetlov. Now Yashin once more. Yashin tries the outside, against which he Dunn. Got it out in front, but Dunn took him to the corner, and the Sabres start back. Housley couldn't control it. Dumped in by Andrechuk. This is Lindy Ruff behind the Soviet goal. Ruff tried to slip it through for Foligno, and Gluchenkov has it for the Dynamo. Ahead for Varnikov. This is Varnikov at the line. Left it for Yashin. Andrechuk broke up the play nicely. Sabres quite content to dump it in. Zubrilchev against Perot. Zubrilchev had to feed it back to Vosikov. Murda claims it for the Sabres just inside his line. That's Gilles Perot. Perot, a back pass. This is Sealing. Sealing back for Perot. Perot to the backhand. Cleared it out in front. Michigan had to play it. Tucker. Now along the board, Sealing as the Soviets have a little difficulty clearing it out of their own zone. Scoreless in the first. 5:03 to play. Nifty move by Antipov. Didn't quite get away with it.
Not really. The guy had him looking in his eyes, and he just wouldn't allow him to put it between his legs. Another icing by the Soviets, John, and once again, I think that's in the Buffalo favor.
This is the NHL Soviet Series. Gilles Hamil with Sear and McKenna. Hamel lost the draw. Soviets quick to the attack. Big shot. And Klutche stood his ground. Picked up now by Sear. .426 left in the opening period. This is Bilya Lektonov. Over on the left wing for Skurduk. Skurduk couldn't get around Al-Qaeda's that time. Soviets control though in the Buffalo zone. This is Skurduk taking a weak shot out in front. Varnikov. or Varianov rather. Number 12, chance for the Sabres. Sear fired it wide. Phil Housley now to the Soviet line and across. Housley plays it back. The shot. Mishkin the save. Marudinov takes a heavy check from Michael Anderson. Now McKenna moves in against Marudinov, and they'll hold it for a face-off in the Soviet zone.
Well, there's the Sabre.
It's the brain trust up there.
Brain trust up there, too. And I'm sure Scotty Bowman's enjoying this game, too. I think he's a big fan of international hockey, and he knows you can learn something from the Soviets, and he's taking in a lot tonight.
We'll have a chat with Scotty during our second intermission. General manager of the Buffalo Sabres, also up there, Don Luce, one of the assistant coaches to Jim Schoenfeld. Working the bench will be Craig Ramsey, along with Schoenfeld. This is Antipov for the Soviets. Check from behind by Anderson. Anderson almost slipped it through for Foligno. And another chance. Now Lindy Ruff got it through for Foligno going in. Two men to beat, and he was checked from behind. Soviets led by Antipov. Ahead now for Borshevetsky. Borshevetsky for Antipov. Man open. And Klutye had all the angles covered. Played that one pretty well, didn't he?
He sure did. I like the way he played that. But once again, when you give the Soviets a 3-2 opportunity, it can be fatal. They make a good play in this 3-2. Housley commits himself by falling there. But Klutye got out. A miscue by the Soviet team. But Klutye read it pretty good. He was over there to force the miscue.
Zabrilchev had a little net to work with, but then couldn't control the bouncing puck, and Klutye had forced his hand by that time.
People don't think the goaltending is an intelligent position, too, but sometimes you got to figure out the play. I've been told that many a time.
Yashin, Varnikov, and Svedlov. Big line for the Soviets out there. Sabres win the faceoff. Just about costly. There's Yashin moved in. Long pass for Playfair. And he backhanded it into the Soviet zone. Bosakov. Big hit from Playfair. John Tucker. His pass intended for Playfair, taken by Yashin. Now Yashin to the line with Svedlov. Svedlov going right in. Klutye forced him again. Yashin hit the side of the net. This is Varnikov. Varnikov back for Bosakov. His shot blocked. This is Svedlov now. Svedlov tried to sneak one through. 2:36 to play in this first period. Svedlov playing it back out in front. And Popian couldn't make a play. Scoreless in the first, 2 minutes, 19 seconds to play. Sabres and the Moscow Dynamo. As the Dynamo start out, Bosakov ahead for Antipov. Antipov checked neatly by Alkaitis. Alkaitis backhanded it in for Sean McKenna. McKenna kept it in and was unable to keep it in at that stage. 1:48 to play, opening period. Pervukin, number 5 for the Soviets. Alkaitis moves in against him. Now, this is Leonev, number 23. Back to the line. Antipov takes the shot, the save. Klutye might have been wide of the target, but he held on and steered it aside. Hamel against Antipov. Comes to Foligno. Foligno out for Ruff. You like to have. Richie Dunn played it ahead on the right side. Marudinov was there into the final minute of the opening period. Still scoreless. Skurduk, number 7 for the Dynamo, got it across the line, but Varianov was offside at the Sabres blue line.
I think the only trouble the Sabres have been in this period is when they've allowed the Soviets to penetrate their zone on 3-on-2s, but they have hustled back and to equalize the 3-on-2 very quickly.
Still very interesting to watch the 3-on-2s develop because they start off so many times 2-on-2 and all of a sudden there's somebody, another Soviet there to make it a much more dangerous play.
It's never too late to come back against the Soviets.
Soviets keeping it at the line. This is Varianov. In behind the net for Forudinov. Sabres get it out of danger as Glushenkov put it right on the stick of Lindy Ruff. Ruff couldn't cross the line because Andreychuk was trapped inside. Now Foligno. Weak shot, handled easily by Mishkin. Andreychuk. Foligno in the corner. Foligno trying to work himself out in front. Just about got there. Comes to Lindy Ruff. Ruff back in for Andreychuk. Andreychuk was taken out. Foligno now has it behind the net. Right out in front. Trying to get it for Housley with 6 seconds on the clock. Klutche comes out to set it up for Richie Dunn. And a not bad opportunity for the Sabres in the dying seconds there. But really, Mishkin was not tested too severely in that first period.
No, he was. It was rather a cautious period by both teams. I think the Sabres, by winning a couple of draws in the Soviet end, had the better of the opportunities. Only because the Soviets mishandled some of their 3-on-2s when they had the opportunity too. So it was a cautious period where no one wanted to give in to the other team, and it was. I don't think there was many scoring threats in that period.
Sabres out shooting the Moscow Dynamo 7-6 in the opening period, but on the scoreboard, that's what you see. Scoreless after one. We'll get on with our first intermission right after this. Here with the Sports Network, TS.
There's dangers of the Soviets on 3-on-2 and 2-on-2 situations. If you can stand up the blue line, you'll cut off their scoring opportunities.
Jacques Klutche and Vladimir Mishkin facing off against each other at opposite ends of the ice. You've played Mishkin a time or two, haven't you?
I played against him once, and it's a game I'd rather forget. He got a shutout that game.
Obviously you didn't.
Obviously, too, because someone had to win the game.
He's a veteran, 30 years of age, and still rated as the best goaltender in the Soviet Union. Underway in the second period. This is Yashin. Quickly to the attack. Yashin over for Svetlov. And he's taken out. Comes back to Yashin. Back to the line. The shot deflected out in front by Varnikov, number 22. Klutche had it well covered. Yashin goes down. Yashin was clipped with a high stick, I believe. It appeared to be accidental. But Yashin got one in the chops. He might not even go off the ice.
No, he isn't. He's just cut a little bit in the lip there, too. I missed the high stick there, to be truthful.
Alkidis will go off for high sticking. The referee didn't miss it.
Yashin gets, oh, there it is, too. It was accidental, too, but I think this call has to be called more in the NHL during the play of the NHL, too. It might just settle down the high sticking.
See more and more players wearing the visors.
And it's situations like that where it's going to be very protective for them.
Power play for the Soviets, first penalty of the hockey game. And it's rifled off the boards and all the way down the ice by Ramsey. Pervukin back for the Soviets. Alkidis in the box, the Soviets on the power play. To the Sabre line. Varnikov tried to play it out to the right wing and hit a skate and deflected to neutral territory. Pervukin over for Bilyaletdinov and quickly ahead for Varnikov, number 22. Into the middle for Bilyaletdinov. And here's Svetlov going right in. Great save by Jacques Klutche. Klutche went down after making the save, but he had his angles well covered. He read it well.
Klutche did read that well, John. He outlasted Svetlov in that play.
Wild shot fired high and over the target by Paul Cyr. The Sabres a man short, keeping it in the Soviet zone to kill off some seconds of this penalty. Varnikov now to the line. Bilyaletdinov back in for Varnikov. Varnikov lost it in there, and it's going down by the Sabres once more. Paul Cyr
Well, the Sabres haven't given the Soviet a chance to set up in their end, and that's good. And here's no, they elected to let it go.
Berta dumps it back into the Soviet zone. Pervukin, one bank off the boards. As he got it to Varianov. Back for Pervukin, and ahead for Varianov again. He tried to slip it through for Skirdup. Sabres very effective killing out this penalty to Halkitis for high sticking. Just 20 seconds remain in the Soviet manpower advantage. Varudinov to Skirdup. Over on the right side. Bilyaletdinov takes the shot, deflected out in front. It got through Klutye. Made the play. Varudinov tips it in. And Halkitis is back on the ice. So the Sabres very effective in killing out that penalty. That's Halkitis after it now. And icing called.
Sabres did a terrific job of killing that penalty. They forced the Soviets into 3 or 4 mistakes and didn't allow them to set up in their end.
17:33 to play in the second period. It is still scoreless at the Memorial Auditorium. The Odd in Buffalo. He was one of the great penalty killers, Craig Ramsey, wasn't he?
He sure was, too. And they use the rink in here to their advantage killing penalties. They just try and get the opposition on the boards where they don't have enough room to move it.
Ramsey 1 year away from the game, and behind the bench is an assistant coach to Jim Schoenfeld. He's in his first season as head man in Buffalo. Gluchenkov ridden off into the boards by Andrechuk. This is Leonev. Across the line, has a man open on the right side, and the backhand didn't work that time for Payachinov. Payachinov just fired it wide. Antipov couldn't get to it. That's rough in forechecking. Zubrilchev, 18. And Ruff is back to break up the play for the Sabres. Comes to Leonov. He couldn't make a play. Zubrilchev had it out front. Ruff took command. The puck goes into the corner. This is Richie Dunn for the Sabres. Ahead for Ruff. Ruff had to go off his stick. Leonov going right in. Chance out in front. Leonov had a chance to shoot. Passed it. Maybe one too many. Into the corner after it. Varianov, number 12 for the Soviets. It goes to the other side. Perot is in there for Buffalo. And Berta makes the play to let Playfair get a pass over on the right side. This is Gilles Perot, one man to beat in the goaltender right out in front. Oh, Playfair. And a chance nicely set up by Gilles Perot.
There were 3 good plays in this particular rush, too. Gilles Perot made a terrific play. Andrechuk made a good play getting the shot away, and Mishka made the great save. Perot has got control here, takes the defenseman over, makes a great pass to Andrechuk, gets a good shot away, and Mishkin, the veteran that he is, got his stick glove on it and made a very good save there. Second angle here, Perot makes a good pass. Andrechuk, who is a gifted goal scorer, makes a right on target, and Mishkin read it well and made I think his best save of the game.
Face-off is in the Soviet zone. Scoreless in the second period. John Tucker couldn't handle the draw that time. Osakov for the Soviets, number 4, plays it ahead of the boards. This is Perot after it. Perot playing it back behind his line for Riki, number 31. And the Soviets force the Sabres back behind their net to regroup. This is Hannu Berta. Berta for Perot. Perot couldn't get around the Soviet defense standing up at the line. It's held just inside the Soviet blue line for a face-off.
Playing in the Soviet League, I guess the defensemen are very used to staying up, too, because of the onslaught of rushes that the opposition has. If you back in against a Soviet team, you're in trouble. And playing in that Soviet League here, the defense have learned to stand up, and they stood up very well in that particular play.
Just inside the Soviet line for this face-off. Sabres win it. Control. Flip to the corner. Pretty good charge in there for Sean McKenna as he took one Soviet out of the action. But Svetlov leads the attack back. This is Pervukin. Ahead for Varnikov. Varnikov for Yashin. His shot goes off Halkitis. Pervukin kept it in. Klutьje set it up for Ramsey. That's Mike Ramsey. Chance for the Sabres. 2-on-1. McKenna on the right side. Hamil takes the shot. Michigan the save. Vilyuletinov in against Hamil. Yashin now for Svedlov. This is Svedlov 14 to the Sabre line. Alkitis has him tied up, but he drops it back for Vilyuletinov. Shot right on Yashin. The shot. Klutьje the save, and it was danger there for a moment. Now McKenna has an opportunity. Michigan has the save. Action picking up in the second period now. Hamil out in front. Alkitis couldn't direct it. This is Svedlov. One man to beat. Can't get around. Richie Dunn out in front. Two Soviets were there, but Ruff is back to claim it for the Sabres. Got it to the line, and not quite out now. It trickles out across the Buffalo line. Gluchenkov going in. Gluchenkov, and the save made by Klutьje. To the side of the net. Klutьje will hang on for a whistle. We'll have a face-off in the Sabre zone. Better action there in that stretch of the second period, but it's still scoreless. The Dynamo, and there it is, the setup. Always important. The Soviets won the drive, comes out across the line. Gluchenkov avoids a check. Here's Varudinov. Couldn't quite control a pass. And the Sabres led by Housley to the attack. Over on the left side for Lindy Ruff. Michigan the save. And it's caught up in his pants, so he hangs on.
Both goaltenders are playing very well, John, and especially the series before this. They made some fine saves here, but Housley makes a good pass to Ruff here. And Ruff does get a shot away, but Michigan's equal to the task. He's out, shuts them off, and just freezes the puck.
Vladimir Mishkin. First team Soviet All-Star in the first division.
He's got great poise, Michigan. Nothing seems to bother him.
Say he's the smiling goaltender. Is he the only one in the club that smiles a lot?
He might be the only one in the universe.
Lindy Ruff lost it to Antipov. Antipov starting down to the line. Dropped it back. The shot just wide. Fired by Leonov. Klutьje made a move on it, but it was wide of the target. Ruff. Ahead now for Foligno, but across two lines. And the Soviet player is down. Bosikov, number 4. I think he got it in the face, too. Maybe we can see it here.
Good. Ruff is trying to get it out of his end, and Bosikov comes in quite low to the plate, too. It's funny how things go. I shouldn't say funny, but how things go. There's more facial injuries in the last while than I've ever seen in the game, too, and hopefully this isn't serious. Well, it looks like it got him in the throat, John.
It was the puck flipping up that time, not a stick, I believe.
No, it was the puck. Ruff was just trying to get it out of his zone, and Bosikov came in, and he just got it in the throat.
It wasn't a hard drive anyway. It was flipped up.
Ruff has just got one thing in his mind. Get it out of your end.
Face-off will be just inside the Sabre line. That's John Tucker, number 7, going against Antipov, number 25. Leonov and Zubrilchev. The rest of the forward front for the Moscow Dynamo on this line. Leonov falling in the corner. Berta plays it around behind his goal for Riki. Riki tried to get it through for Tucker that time, and dangerously close again to Klutьje. He played it to the side of the into the corner, and here comes Perreault. Over for Berta, as the fast break didn't work for the Sabres that time. Sealing moving in with Perreault, now Tucker. This is Perreault with the puck. Perreault circling around behind the net. Left it there for Tucker. Vilyuletinov takes over for the Soviets. Berta kept it in. Sealing didn't see it coming. Antipov now. A pass on the right side for Zubrilchev, and they're offside. From jolly old London, England. Paul Sear, chance for the Buffalo Sabres. Tucked it to the side of the net. He was well past the target. Michigan had the angle covered. Soviets led now by Sasha, 15. Lost it in the center zone. Borshevetsky couldn't get anywhere. Now Hamill. Sasha. Now it comes to Sear for the Sabres. He got it barely across the line into the corner. Gluchenkov is there for the Soviets. Playfair moves in. Playfair got it back to the line. Ramsey the shot. Loose out in front. Sear fired it wide on the rebound. Hamel to Playfair. Playfair couldn't play it. Gluchenkov ringing it off the boards. It's all the way down. And Ramsey touches for an icing call against the Dynamo. Still scoreless.
The Soviet player must have known who Larry Playfair is, because he elected not to go in the corner with him. By doing that, he was able to get the puck back to Ramsey, who just directed in front of the net.
Mike Ramsey, he's a big one too, 6'3", 195.
He's a very valuable player to the Sabres. He's the race penalty killer on defense, and he logs a lot of ice time for him.
Barnikov dropping it back for Yashin. Yashin takes the shot. Klutche got a piece of it. Yashin played it back to the line, into the corner, played there by the Soviets. Barnikov, number 22 for Yashin. Good pressure by the Soviets now as they control the Sabre zone. This is Svetlov trying to find room to move. Checked by Polino. High stick out in front. It wasn't called. And now play is whistled down as one of the linesmen spotted it. 10 minutes, 50. Jacques Klutche, they call for a face-off at center ice. Soviet player was guilty of the infraction. Yashin flipped it in across. This is Verta for the Sabres. Anu Verta plays it ahead on the right side. Perot couldn't blame it. Mosikov. Tucker stole it. And Svetlov got it right back. Played off the boards by Tucker, but claimed by the Soviets quickly. Barnikov. And Mosikov backhands it back to Svetlov. Here's Yashin, a chance with one man to beat. Yashin has a man coming in on the other side. Worked right in. Verta won the draw.
Verta played that terrific, John.
Stood his ground, and the Soviets had a 2-on-1 and never got a shot on goal. Here they come again, though. Verianov, number 12, to the backhand. Verianov, and he's robbed by Jacques Klutche. Big save for Klutche with Verianov going in. Sabres come right back to the Soviet line. Out in front. Alkidas couldn't make a play. This is Sean McKenna coming up with it. McKenna's down, up again. No penalty call. McKenna ridden off into the boards by Bilyaletdinov. And this is Bilyaletdinov clearing it out of the way and all the way down the ice. They ice it again. A little pressure from the Sabres forced that.
Well, the Sabres can't continually get away with making the mistakes they did in that shift. First of all, I don't know how often the Soviets have a 2-on-1 and don't get a shot in goal. We'll see a great play by Verta coming up here. Number 19, the rookie defenseman, he gets caught here.
Alkidas.
Oh, this is the breakaway. But Klutche holds his, well, he gets caught a little bit. He comes over with that stick and just shuts this guy off. And it was, once again, Klutche has been very strong tonight.
That was a big save right there. No doubt about that.
The shift just before that, though, the Soviets had a 2-on-1 and did not get a shot off. That doesn't happen very often, but Verta made a great play out of it.
McKenna clears it around in behind the Soviet goal. Now Glushenkov for the Dynamo. This is Leonov. Leonov ridden out. Neatly done that time by Richie Dunn. They keep coming, though. Here's a chance. Klutche makes another big save. That time on Zubelchev, 18. Gluchenkov kept it in at the line. Zubelchev once more. Antipov now. And think he might have rung that one off the goalpost on the outside. Kluchikov for Antipov. Good forechecking by McKenna, though, forces the Soviets back behind their line to regroup. Leonov for Zubrilchev, 18. And Leonov coming in on the other side. Couldn't control a pass. Klutье setting it up for Phil Housley. This is Housley. Can't get around number 24, Pyatanov. Soviets to the line, kept in by Andreychuk. Zubrilchev now. Zubrilchev goes to the backhand. Klutье stood his ground, and it went off a leg and into the goal. The red light is on. Klutьe is down there arguing with the officials, the two linesmen anyway.
That's sort of agree with Klutьe in this call. I think the Soviet player directed this in on purpose. If it's accidental and he doesn't direct it, it should count. But let's look at it again here. This player makes a great play to Zubrilchev. He makes the save, Klutьe.
I don't know, maybe Varyanov, number 12, really didn't see it.
Klutьe makes the save. The puck flips in the air.
Oh, maybe he did. From that angle, it looks like he played it right off his body.
Well, I'm going to side with Klutьe there. I don't think that goal should have counted.
Well, I knew you'd be on Klutьe's side.
I got to be on the goaltender's side too, but
from one angle, it looked as if he didn't really see it coming, and then from the reverse angle, the back angle, it looked like he played it rather innocent, or tried to look innocent.
I like to bet that the Soviet knew what he was doing all the time.
It says 1-0 on the scoreboard, though.
It's a shame. Klutьe has played a solid game up to now.
And he made the initial save on the play. 12:09, the time of the first goal in the hockey game. The Dynamo out in front of the Bafffalo Сейбрз, 1-0. Zubrilchev and Varyanov combining for the goal. This is Sealing for the Sabres. Lots of open ice for Buffalo. Sealing takes it across center ice and dumps it in. After it is Perreault. He couldn't get there first. The Soviets control in their zone. Kept in at the line by Henny Verta. Verta and around behind the net, trying to get it through for Gilbert Perreault. Comes to Perreault now. Perreault feeds it into the corner. Tucker working against two Soviet players. He comes out on the losing end as Varyanov got it out across the blue line. For the Soviets, this is Vozikov, number 4. Alkitis plays it for Perreault. Gilbert Perreault. Perreault had to do it all by himself that time. No help, and Sashov starts back for the Soviets. Barnikov couldn't get anywhere. Borshevetsky. Sabres had a little difficulty clearing out of their zone. This is Anderson. He couldn't get around Bilyaletdinov. Yashin is out there now with Barnikov, 22. Svetlov got it across the line. Not very deep as Anderson takes over for the Sabres. Yashin has a man out in front. Played it to the second man coming in, Barnikov. He was checked. They scored. Yashin set up that time by Barnikov. It is quickly 2-0 for the Soviets.
Well, there's that line again of Yashin, Barnikov, and Svetlov. They're a very dangerous line, which is very evident here. Yashin, in the original play, he elected to hit the third guy coming in. And the puck is bouncing around here, and somehow ends up in Yashin's stick, and he just puts it in the open net, too.
But Barnikov played it over here, 22.
Barnikov to Yashin, and right in the open corner. But the play was Yashin, when he made the original pass, elected not to hit the first guy, but the second guy, and the Sabres skated by the play. The Sabres got to keep their cool now and create some more scoring opportunities. There's some scoring opportunities for themselves.
Soviets into a 2-0 lead in the Bafffalo Сейбрз with 6:04 to play in the second period. And again, icing is the call. Tough break for Buffalo on the first goal. Then they kind of maybe dozed off a little bit, backed in a little bit too far in the second. It's 2-0 Dynamo.
Well, you can't give that the Yashin line time to maneuver in your end, or it's fatal to you. But the Soviets have that ability to outlast you. They
are
wait.
so patient.
Yeah, they have great patience.
Andreychuk at center ice for the Sabres. to the line. This is Forudinov. Forudinov for Skurduk. Skurduk tries to get around Ramsey. Shot fired wide, that time by Berianov, number 12. Kept in by Gluchenkov. This is Forudinov. He takes a check in there from Richie Dunn. Andrechek. Ahead to the Buffalo line. And it's fired in by the Sabres, but not very deep that time by Lacombe. Winding up that shot from Lacombe. High and out of play and amongst the spectators at the odd in Buffalo. Second period action, the Dynamo and the Buffalo Sabres, the face-off, will be in the Moscow zone. Tucker got the draw. Back to Verda. Verda fed it through. That was Perot out front trying to tip it home. Now the Soviets, led by Antipov down the right side. He's ridden out, but comes up with the puck anyway. In for Leonev. Sabres intent to dump it in. Verda flipped it into the corner. It's loose for John Tucker. Tucker works it to the other side. Shot fired to the side of the net. This is Tucker working in. The backhand was weak and didn't make it through. Sealing trying to feed it through to a teammate behind the net. That was Gilles Perreault.
A hand pass by the Soviet there. It's very important for the Sabres right now is not that they have to get a goal before the period's over, but they cannot allow another goal. They have plenty of time to tie this game up, and it doesn't have to be done in 4 minutes and 44 seconds.
That's what remains in the second period. The Dynamo with 2 quick goals, 12:09 and 13:47 of the second period. Berianov and Yashin.
It's a critical time now for the Sabres. The last 4 minutes of the second period won the game for the Dynamo against Boston the other night.
Boston had a 1-goal lead at that stage. Sabres controlling in the Dynamo zone. This is Hamel. Number 9 for the Sabres. Tough territory down there. Now they score at the side of the net. It ricocheted in, a wild and crazy goal.
Anytime you direct the puck at the net, it's a potential scoring chance. Paul Cyr, he just fired it to the front of the net. It either went in off Hamel or the Soviet defenseman.
Hamel was there.
Centerman.
Berianov, number 12 for the Soviets.
Hamel did some good work here. Goes back to Cyr. He just directs it to the front of the net. And it either went in off Berianov or off of Cyr.
Off Hamel. It was Cyr firing out. Cyr gets credit for the goal. Svedlov now for the Soviets, cleared it out in front. It comes back for Svedlov into the corner. He got away from Hamel. Back to the line, winding up with a shot and ricocheted wide. Gluchenkov's drive that time. Yashin now. 2-1. Sabres trailing the Moscow Dynamo. Back to the line. And a miscue as the Soviets couldn't keep it in. Barnikov laying it out for Yashin on the right side. He winds up with a shot. Blocked by the defense. Barnikov flipped it out in front. And Klutje wisely goes down on it.
Against this line of Yashin's line, you should freeze the puck as much as possible. And I think Klutje knew that, and he wants to change. Not only for his team, but to get the Yashin line off the ice.
That makes good sense to me. 2-1. Big goal for the Sabres into the final 4 minutes.
It could end up a big goal as long as they're not scored against before the end of the period.
Forudinov, number 20. Flips it into the corner from the face-off, goes after it. He can't control. Back pass, cleared to the line. Kept in by the Soviets. Popiev fired wide, number 6. Berianov. Now Skurduk. Skurduk, number 7. Having a good time out there. No one can catch him. Finally, Richie Dunn takes the puck away. 3:04 to play, second period. Soviets going in. Verianov playing it back for Farudinov. Klutye the save. And on the rebound. Loose out in front. Klutye, one big save. And it is finally pushed out of play by the Baffalo Сейбрз.
Well, Klutye's played very well tonight, and the reason it's 2-1 is Jacques Klutye. There's a point-blank shot. He holds his ground, makes the save on a deflection. Gets up in time to hinder the shooter again, just to make him hold it and give the Buffalo defense a chance to get back in the action.
Farudinov, number 20, coming close, but it remains 2-1.
Klutye very strong tonight, John.
I think he has played well. Several big saves. Had no chance on the second goal. And is still likely not convinced the first one should have counted. That's Perot along the boards. Number 11 for the Sabres. He got it to Sealing. Ricocheted off the leg, and Berta has to play. Now Sealing. Check from behind. Cleared in by Anderson. Antipov now claims a loose puck at center ice. Over for Leonard. Leonard gets the shot. Klutye the save. Zubrilchev in. Now it comes to Leonov for the Soviets. 2:17 to play in the second period. 2-1 for the Moscow Dynamo. And held along the boards for a face-off in the Sabres zone.
You know, someone once told me that the Soviets couldn't shoot. And I don't think it was a goaltender
But that
who
was
said
in
that.
1946 they couldn't shoot.
Right. Once again, Klutye is out in this shot and plays it very well. Varnikov, a dangerous shooter. Klutye's right out, gets his stick on it, and makes the save. That was more or less a routine save for Klutye.
Well, he handled it well. Got the rebound out of the way. This is Svetlov for the Soviets. Into the corner, Varnikov. Now back for Svetlov, trying to control it along the boards. The Sabres break it up, and it comes back to Svetlov. Now cleared out Gluchenkov for the Soviets. And quickly they're right back in. This is Varnikov going in, shoots, scores! One man left back, Alkidis. And Varnikov played it perfectly.
The Soviets have just had too many chances to only be ahead 2-1, and the Sabres paid for it right here. Varnikov was in, and sooner, even though this drifts through Klutye, sooner or later they had to score. They're just getting too many clear-cut chances. I don't know where the other Sabre defenseman went to in this particular goal. But once again, it's the Varnikov, Yashin, and Svetlov line that's doing the damage.
1 minute 50 seconds now to play in the second period. The Sabres have fallen behind by 2 once more. It is 3-1 for the Moscow Dynamo. Yashin over on the right side. Svetlov. Now Varnikov. Sabres try to kick it in across the line. The Soviets come right back. This is Yashin, 13. Trying to get a little fancy in there, and it goes to the corner where Svetlov takes over. Svetlov takes a pretty good hit from Richie Dunn. Soviets keep coming, though. Yashin playing it out in front. The shot fired just wide that time by the defenseman. Antonov, number 24.
Svetlov makes a very good pass here and gets it back and gives it back again. What a give and go by these fellas. I thought Klutye should have been off very good too, but they made 3 passes in the Buffalo zone there, and that should be allowed to happen.
Mishat Farudinov, starry left winger, wears number 20, veteran of several international competitions. Sabres just missed getting it through for John Tucker. Into the final minute of the second period now as Sealing dumps it in. Tucker in after it. Tucker comes up with a puck, trying to clear it out in front. It's flipped up and over the boards as it went off the stick that time. Victor Skurduk, number 7.
Well, we mentioned through the whole game, John, if the Sabres didn't take care of that one line, they'd be in trouble, and it's certainly what's happened.
Well, that line leads leads the Dynamo in scoring in this tournament and back home in the Soviet Elite Division. Back to the line, the shot fired, Mishkin the save. Shot that time from Riki. Mishkin didn't have a great deal of difficulty with it. Riki gets another chance here. Good move to get around one player. No penalty call, although the fans in Buffalo would like to see one. This is Riki dumping it into the corner. 30 seconds left on the clock, second period. Get after it for the Sabres. Anderson got it back to the line, but it's out on a cross. And Verta is back to play it against Berudinov. Anderson got it ahead for Sealing. Sealing couldn't get anywhere with it. This is Riki. And back for Riki. Joe Riki playing his first game with the Sabres this season. He hasn't looked too out of place either. Joe Riki. 3-1. Sabres trail the Moscow Dynamo after 2 full periods. And that third goal may be a little tough to come back on now, Jerry.
It sure was. You know, the Sabres weren't in a bad position until the third goal. They're going to go in not playing a very good period and only being down by a goal, too. But it's not the end of the world for the Sabres. They just cannot give up any more goals early in the third period, and they have to create more scoring opportunities. As awesome as the Soviets looked offensively that period, they had a very good period of defense. They shut the Sabres down time and time again and turned it over into great scoring opportunities for them.
A reasonable indication, I would think.
And put the puck on the net more often and go to the net, drive to the net.
2 big lines for the Buffalo Sabres out there. Andreychuk, Foligno, and Ruff for the Soviets. Varnikov, Svetlov, and Yashin start off the third period with a good hit. And this is Yashin to the Sabre line. And across, he's checked off the puck by Foligno. Trailing on the play. Ruff couldn't control it, so Svetlov takes it into the corner. This is Pervukin, number 5, clearing it in behind the Buffalo goal. And the Sabres, Foligno tried to slip it across for Andreychuk. He couldn't take the pass. Did put a pretty good hit on Pervukin, though, just inside the Soviet line. Varnikov cleared it into and through the neutral zone as Ruff, or rather Richie Dunn, goes back for the Sabres.
The Soviets are doing what the Sabres should be doing. They're bottling them up at center ice.
Slow beginning to the second period as Tucker starts down the left side for Buffalo. Tucker slipped it out in front, and Sealing couldn't get to it. Good play by Tucker to get it back to the line. Here's a chance for Buffalo. And Sealing was upended. Couldn't get a shot away. Perot clears it into the corner for the Soviets. Bozikov, long pass for Skurduk. Skurduk got in across the Sabre line. He was checked off the puck by Riki. Once more, the Soviets cross the line. Berianov, the shot, the save by Klutye. Out in front again and fired well wide of the target by Berudinov that time. Berudinov still working in the corner along the boards. Finally, he lost the puck, and it's cleared around by Riki. Riki ahead for Sear. This is Paul Sear into the corner. Amel over on the other side. Sear coming up with it, centered it right out in front. No one there for the Sabres. Kept in at the line by Ramsey, but claimed quickly by Bozikov. Bozikov couldn't get it out. Amel kept it in for Buffalo. Alkaitis in a little trouble against Leonov. He played it well, though. Zubrilchev out in front. Antipov coming in. And that one hit a loose stick out in front. Leonov goes down. Penalty coming up to the Sabres. And Sear may go out, too.
It's tough enough playing the Soviet with hockey sticks. And when you play them without a hockey stick, it's twice as tough.
They'll sort out the penalty. Sear goes off.
Sear without a hockey stick, he's trapped right here, and he pulls him down on about the 3-yard line right here. I think the crowd has found out this is a Soviet referee.
He was introduced much earlier in the evening. Viktor Gubernatorov. Sear for holding, 2:30. Third period. With the Sabres trailing 3-1. Face-off will be in the Buffalo zone. To the left this time of Jacques Clutche. He has been a busy man in goal for the Sabres tonight. He has played well.
Jabbar Perol is trying to tell the Soviet referee that there's something happening at the other end of the ice, too. The play just before this penalty, Sabre was pulled down in front of the Soviet net. I guess he just missed that.
Well, Perot did not win the argument. "17 minutes, 30 seconds to play. Third period, Sabres down by 2 and a man short as the Soviets start a power play. Antipov with Leonov and Zubrelchev, the forward front for the Soviets. And the Sabres get it out of their territory quickly. This is Gluchenkov now for the Moscow Dynamo. Leonov. Good forechecking by Sealing. Now Zubrelchev has it. And on the right side, Zubrelchev. Back to the line. This is Gluchenkov. Zubrelchev and back once more. Over to the left point. And back for Gluchenkov. Soviets, as mentioned, very, very patient. We have not seen them control us on a power play frequently tonight. Klutche made the save. Antipov takes a return pass. Back to the line. Pyatanov. And he takes a return pass shot. Klutche the save. Zubrelchev controls the rebound.
The Sabres have to get a little more aggressive killing this penalty. They're allowing the Soviets they have to be more aggressive because when you give the Soviets time to work around the puck, with their ability to pass, it's very dangerous. Leonov hits the Soviet right in front of the net. Once again, Klutche stands there and shuts him off and freezes the puck. Teams that pass good, you cannot be conservative in your penalty killing. You have to go after them. You have to get them out of that.
You have to force them. You have to force them out of
get them out of that good flow that they're in.
47 seconds left of the penalty. To Paul Sear. Holding was the call. Face-off again in the Buffalo zone. Emil lost the draw right back to the line. This is Pervukin. His shot got through. Klutche steered to the side. Yashin was in very close. Vilyaletdinov, 17, in for Svetlov. And back once more. This is Svetlov getting set for the shot. Fired it. It's right back to Svetlov. Claiming his own rebound with 21 seconds left. Oh! Svetlov cleared it across in front for Pervukin. And Pervukin closed and just missed the passing opportunity from Svetlov. Just 9 seconds left in the penalty to Sears, so the Sabres did very well holding off the Soviet power play. Varnikov with a pass on the right side for Svetlov. And that broken up just inside the line, cleared down by Ruff. Icing will be called against the Buffalo Sabres with 15 minutes, 18 seconds to play. Third period, and the visitors lead the guests by 2. Feel like this, a goaltender holding his own out in front, Jerry.
Well, the crease area is the goaltender's domain here. And Klutche, this guy's been killing everyone around here. Yashin with his goals. So I think Klutche just wanted to let him know that he's around there.
Sabres control after the faceoff. Ruff couldn't take a pass, but claims it off the boards. 3 Sabres to the line. Ruff falls as he goes across. Popian in after it for the Soviets. Now this is Mike Polino. Polino had a man out in front, but he was tied up. Picked up for Buffalo by Housley. Out in front, Foligno couldn't quite come up with it. Held along the boards just inside that Sabre line. Now it trickles out across, but they'll have a face-off in that general area.
The Sabres are having some control in the Soviet end, but they're just not getting their shots on goal or near the net even.
Soviets were keeping them off balance in that particular sequence. The veteran Victor Skurduk. Cleared in right from the faceoff by Joe Riki. Zabrilchev couldn't come up with it. Riki dumps it back to the line. Picked up by Playfair. He couldn't get anywhere. Now Tucker has it for the Sabres. Tucker has an offside just at the line there. Man on the right side, just a little too quick. Playfair. Tucker's got the visor on. Jerry?
Well, the Sabres experimented with this at the morning practice, and the whole team had them on, and I understand it come from the owner, Knox, to try it. A few have elected to wear them tonight.
From the faceoff, Tucker in across the line. Now might get an opportunity. Scores! Larry Playfair. Tucker made it work. Playfair got the goal.
Playfair held on it just long enough to beat Michigan on the short side. He's not known for his goal scoring, but he made a great shot there, and he outweighted Michigan on this particular play. He waited here, he waited, stick side low right by Michigan.
Tucker really made it work, though. He had two Soviets tied up in front of the net.
Tucker's a very good offensive player. He knows what to do in the Soviet zone. I think they found a new left winger in Playfair for the time being.
That makes it.
Let's see if they can take advantage of this, John.
3-2. Sabres close to within a goal. This is Riki. Content to dump it in. After it, Perot. He couldn't control it. And it's all the way down into the Sabre zone once more. Riki. Back for it. Ahead on the boards, trying to get it for Playfair. And it's held along the sidelines for a face-off with 13:57 to play, third period. Still lots of time for the Sabres to make a real evening of this. One more angle of the goal.
Tucker really hustles after the draw at the blue line. He's dueling with two Soviets, and Playfair picks up the results of that duel and drives it in the short side.
He took Gluchenkov and Pietanov right out of the play to John Tucker, and that set up the goal that gets the Sabres within one. Mike Ramsey behind his own goal for Buffalo. And on the left side, Sear. And a bit of a battle down there with Bilyaletdinov. Comes to Bilyaletdinov once more. Now Varnikov for the Soviets to the line. The Sabres stand him up there. Can't get across. Now he finds an opening. Varnikov tried to find someone out front. Sabres control and carry it out. This is Svetlov. He's taken out by Ramsey. Sabres back to the line and across. This is Sean McKenna. McKenna working in. Tried to clear it out in front. Got it there, but it was quickly grabbed by 22. Varnikov. This is Yashin into the corner. Got away from the check from Halkitis. Fed it out in front. Back to the line. Soviets in control. Blocked by Halkitis. And a chance for the Sabres. Lindy Ruff. Fired wide. One more time. Mike Foligno. Good save. Mishkin. Kept in by Buffalo. That's Richie Dunn clearing it around. Foligno goes after it. Foligno dumps it around to the other side. Ruff is there. Lindy Ruff in for Foligno. Foligno out in front, scores! Foligno! Mike Foligno took the pass from Andrechuk. It is even at 3.
This goal is coming. This line had some good opportunities in the last minute. They work the puck well behind the Soviet net. Ruff makes a pass. Behind the net. Andreychuk on his backhand turns to Foligno in the garden spot. And Foligno doesn't miss too often there. Andreychuk, once again, he turns on his backhand, throws it in front. And Foligno just drives it in the far corner. Michigan had no chance on the play.
Well, that'll make for a very interesting hockey evening. 3-3.
It's funny, if you play good hockey for 10 minutes nowadays, you're always in the game.
Mike Foligno gets the Sabres back to even.
Even though Andreychuk made the pass and Foligno made a great shot, the Buffalo Sabres need Lindy Ruff in the lineup. He's been on and off all year through injuries and everything, but he makes things work. He's a terrific corner man, and in this building with a good corner man and two talented players like Andreychuk and Foligno, things happen.
Something has been tossed out of the ice, so the stadium attendants are out tidying things up around Vladimir Mishkin.
You know, I don't like to see this because of the momentum the home team's got. It just takes it away from, they got something going now, Sabres, and all of a sudden there's time out for to clean up some debris thrown on the ice. Sometimes fans can play a part in wins and losses. Sometimes, a lot of times.
Well, if it hurts the home team,
it helps the visiting team.
That's right, and if somebody from the home audience tosses something down there in their celebration, the Sabres may cool down a little bit, but maybe the fans won't let them with a good round of applause like that.
Well, this last 5 minutes has lit the crowd up, so we're going to have good 8 minutes of hockey here. 12 minutes.
Overtime is a possibility, too. Hope you didn't have any early dinner reservations, Jerry.
Well, the Soviets refuse to play overtime in Pittsburgh, but it is NHL regulations, and they have to play it.
Joe Perreault to the line, over on the left side. This is Lacombe going in. He's ridden out by Skurda. Perreault back to the line. Riki winds up shot. Michigan, big save.
That should be an interference call in Michigan. He created the net coming off. He hindered the Sabre player from going to the puck.
Closer look.
You see the puck misses the net, goes to the far corner. Lacombe is trying to retrieve the puck. Michigan gets his stick out. This is no different from interference at neutral ice or any end zone. This is an interference call. Somehow the Soviet referee missed it again. Big thing first, the face-off is outside.
From that face-off, cleared in quickly by the Sabres. Perreault going in, takes a shot. That one off the leg. Loose out in front. Oh, they score! 4-3. Lacombe.
That proves the referee was wrong on the interference call. Lacombe takes a bouncing puck in front of the net, directs it towards the goal, and goes between Michigan's legs. The puck is in the air right to Lacombe. Falls. Just directs it towards the net and went right under Michigan. But he's the player that Michigan interfered with.
Normand Lacombe.
I think Michigan just missed that.
It is 4-3 for the Sabres. But still lots of hockey ahead. This is Sear clearing it in for Buffalo with 11:48 to play. Final period. Alkidas overskated a turnaround. Shot fired. Michigan save.
They got the right ideas, Sabres. After 3 quick goals, put everything towards the net. Michigan's getting a little rattled now. He's losing his poise a little bit.
You know, a couple of the changes the Sabres have made in their lineup. Lacombe has paid off handsomely with that goal, but I thought that Riki, their young defenseman, has played fairly confidently as well.
Well, they brought him up tonight to have a look at him in this stiff competition, and he's performing very well. I wouldn't be surprised if he's in the lineup Friday when the Sabres play the Toronto Maple Leafs.
Sabres, of course, in that race in the Adams division. tighter by the moment. Currently, Buffalo stands 5th. The point back of Hartford, 3 back of Boston, and 8 from the top, held by Montreal and Quebec.
Well, they got the fans into the game, John. This will do nothing but help the Sabres.
Sabres sent out the line of Hamel, Sear, McKenna. Sears played well.
Yes, he has. He struggled scoring the goals this year with the Sabres, too, but he's a very good checker, and he's got the kind of shot that he should have more than 5 or 6 goals, too.
Well, the Soviets, Yashin, Varnikov, and Svedlov. Sabres hold it into the corner out in front. Hamel couldn't get a stick on it. This is Svedlov for the Soviets. Varnikov on the right side. Varnikov falls, got it back to the line. Soviets still control. This is Svedlov, but he's ridden out. At the line, kept in by Bilyaletnov. Chance for Buffalo. Hamel winding up with a shot. That one off the defenseman, Pervukin. And the Soviets move out quickly. Svedlov. It comes through to Varnikov. This is Yashin to Varnikov. Out in front, they score even at 4 as Svedlov came in.
Great passing in this goal, John.
Just beautiful.
The Sabre line that was out there, the Hamel, Sear, McKenna line should have been only on the defense here. The puck goes by Hamel here. Pass to Yashin. He makes a pass to the corner, right across to the guy coming in late, and bang, right in the open net. The Soviets don't miss those too often.
It is even at 4 with 11 minutes on the clock, 3rd period. Ruff moves in for the Buffalo Sabres. Shot, Michigan the save, rebound bounces high, Foligno swipes at it. It's high in the air once more. Jump ball. Cleared down by the Soviets. And icing charged against the Moscow Dynamo. Even at 4. 10:42 to play in the final period. Andrechuk, Foligno, Ruff, the forward front for the Sabres. With Dunn and Housley on defense. Face off in the Soviet zone. Playing quickly by Bozakov. Bozakov tried to get it through for Skirdak. It goes all the way down. Housley. And icing again against the Moscow Dynamo. 4-4. Here's the old auditorium wave.
I wonder if they have the wave in Moscow. They have the whistle.
The whistle.
Yeah.
They know how to work a whistle.
I'll tell you, the wave is disturbing to an opposing bench.
I think the Soviets have seen it on this tour, but it must have been a little disturbing to them the first couple of times they saw it. This is Perudinov. Now Andrechuk for the Sabres with Foligno on the right side. Foligno gets it. Takes the shot, sharp angle. Michigan had it covered. Now Ruff around behind. Housley moved in. It's back to Andrechuk. Andrechuk tried to chip it out in front. Couldn't get it there. Perudinov taken out, but he still comes up with a puck. Perudinov ahead for Bozakov. Bozakov. The shot fired that time from Bedianov. Andrechuk for the Sabres in his own zone. Foligno dumped it ahead.
Good change by the Sabres there.
All the way down once more after it is Joe Ricci. And again, the Soviets trying to stay away from some of the pressure being applied by the Sabres.
There's Joe Ricci heading into the Soviet end there for the face-off.
Petawawa, Ontario, and he played for the Cornwall Royals. First game in the National Hockey League.
I'm sure he'll remember this as time goes by, but the important thing here is I think the Sabres have found a defenseman that is big, aggressive, and can handle the puck pretty well.
Face off to the left of Vladimir Mishkin. That's Tucker at center. Almost. Tucker got it over for Playfair. I thought it was in. Mishkin made a great save.
Mishkin makes a terrific save here. Tucker gets it over to Playfair once again. He gets good wood on it, and Michigan reacted quickly and made the save and smothered it.
He also got on top of the, got on the rebound, made 2 saves, and then found the rebound, didn't he?
Eventually, he found the rebound.
Tucker over for Playfair. Playfair in behind the net. Now it's cleared out in front. Here's Playfair. Michigan foiled him again. Playfair went to the backhand. Good hit by Playfair on Pervukin. That's Perot out there behind the net for Buffalo now. Playfair falls, and the Soviets start back. This is Yashin with Barnikov. Man trailing takes the shot, scores. Pervukin. It is 5-4. And boy, they are quick.
They are quick, and they pounce on you. But the foul here, the line had it going pretty good, and the other team's in the Tucker. Tucker's back. As I said earlier, it's never too late to come back against the Soviet. And where does Pervukin come from? From way off. Playfair and Perot are caught. And even though the ball went between Cloutier's legs, you still have to hustle back. And Playfair and Perot, it was their job to pick up Pervukin coming in late. He was the 5th guy in this goal.
10:57, the time of the goal. It is 5-4 for the Dynamo, leading the Buffalo Sabres. Good action in the 3rd period, in particular in this one. Furudinov still has it. Back to the line. The shot fired well high and wide by Fozikov. Souvenir.
You can't get caught against the Soviets. You pay for it every time.
I think of the play that Verta made. And that's about the only time that an excellent scoring opportunity for the Soviets hasn't turned into a goal. Except for the exploits of Mr. Klutye, of course, who's made several sparkling saves. .27 left, 5-4 Dynamo. As the Sabres try to break out of their own zone. Not very effectively that time, but a good hit by Sear. Alkaitis now for Buffalo. Gluchenkov banks it off the boards. It's into the neutral territory once more. That's done. Over on the right side. Anderson couldn't get anywhere with it. Soviets another opportunity. As Bedyanov went in that time, but fired wide. Lacombe got it to the line and across, but the Soviets take it out quickly. Sasha back behind his line. Now Antipov out the right side, and Housley has it for the Sabres. Phil Housley for Lindy Ruff. Ruff left it for Dunn. Back to Ruff now. And on the right side is Phil Housley. Housley goes in deep. Tried to get it out front. Off escape. One man back. It's done. And Svetlov can't get to the puck. Offside called against the Buffalo Sabres. They trail the Moscow Dynamo 5-4 with 7:13 to play in the 3rd period. Well, the Sabres haven't stopped hitting.
Well, here we see Sear take out the defense and Payetnikov. He almost got 2, as a matter of fact, too. But Sear's one of the more physical Sabres.
The elbows might have been a little high on that one.
I don't think that Soviet will call a penalty against the Sabres here.
Out at 5-4 with 7:10 to go. Hamel. Weak shot. He aimed it at the net. Hamel out in front. Chance. Foligno couldn't find it. Housley. Weak backhand. Michigan set it up for Vilyalentinov. Housley back to touch it. One more icing call against the Soviets. That might be a new international record for the Soviets for the number of icing calls in one game.
Sure is. But Foligno missed a golden opportunity there to tie this game up.
Lost it in his feet, I think.
Phil Housley from St. Paul, Minnesota. Excellent offensive defenseman, and
high school to the NHL.
Sure is. That's a tough move, but And he's improved steadily defensively, too. If he could concentrate on his defense, he's a darn good hockey player.
Sabres have had him up playing forward, though, at occasion. That might have impeded his progress a little bit. Michigan the save. Foligno out in front. Another chance. Housley. Michigan kicked it out. That was a big save by Michigan. Farudinov over on the right side for Skurdak. Skurdak is upended as he crossed the line. He's down and hurt. Housley lost it to Farudinov, and Skurdak went down heavily. He's being helped to the bench.
He's a little groggy right now.
Maybe we can see it on the replay.
He cuts across the blue line here. He makes a pass and looks at it. A fatal mistake by
heads up
by the Soviet player. You should never look at a pass you make, and because that's when you get blindsided.
Look at them. You should never admire them.
Yeah, you can look at them, but don't admire them. You're right. But he paid for it.
.6:23 to play, third period. 5-4 Dynamo in front of the Bafffalo Сейбрз. This is Hannu Virta for Buffalo. Sabres a little trouble getting out of their zone. Now Gilles Perreault. Perreault, good pass for Tucker. Tucker took the shot. Zabrilchev, 18 for the Soviets. Dynamo on the attack once more, led this time by Leonov. Left it at the line. Saved by Klutye. Might have been a little wide of the old target.
Yeah, he wasn't taking any chances there, Klutye, too. One thing I've noticed tonight, that doesn't have much to do with the hockey game, but I've never seen so many Soviet helmets on the ice. They're not strapped tightly enough, or the hitting is very good.
Well, Foligno's hit just a few moments ago on Skurdak was one of the better we've seen on the tour.
I like what you said, John. You can look at your pass, but don't admire it. Don't admire it.
Sometimes you have to follow it through. But I think he might have been thinking that that was a nice pass that time. Perreault can't take it off the boards as it was fed ahead by Riki. Hannu Virta starting out for the Bafffalo Сейбрз. 5:34 to play. Over on the left wing for Tucker. Tucker to Playfair. Back to Tucker. Oh, he didn't miss by much. John Tucker has played an extremely strong game for the Sabres.
Hit the outside of the post in that quick shot. I think he's been the Sabres' best player tonight.
Riki dumping it into the Soviet zone. That's Perreault after it. Comes through now to Anderson. Anderson and Perreault. And Halkitis can't keep it in. Yashin is after him. Halkitis back to the line. This is Perreault circling at center ice. His pass for Ramsey off the target. And the Sabres are offside of the Soviet line. With 4 minutes, 54 seconds to play, a 1-goal differential between the Dynamo on the final night of their North American tour of '86 and the Bafffalo Сейбрз.
Well, the Sabres played a lot better in this third period, too. And they were an inch away from tying the game up. Tucker made a terrific shot when off the outside of the post. But he's played a strong game, Tucker.
Face-on is just outside the Soviet line. Anderson got it back, and it's cleared in by Buffalo. And kept in along the boards by McKenna. This is Sear working out in front. The backhand off a stick. Comes back to Sear. The shot. Michigan.
Michigan felt that one.
Bullet drive, but Michigan had the angle played perfectly. Mike Ramsey working against Sasha. Virta goes to Ramsey down the left side. Sear in after it. Anderson claims it on the far side boards. Into the corner for Sean McKenna. McKenna for Sear. McKenna trying to get out in front. And And he was checked. Forudinov cleared it out in front. Sashov has it for the Soviets. Sashov tried to go through, ridden out by Dunn, and it's tied up between those two players. Dunn and Sashov for a face-off in the Sabres zone. Little under 4 minutes, sorry.
Michigan showed some great experience there. Sear was at a bad angle. He knew he was going to have to take a blow up high, and he stood there and went off his left arm, and he's still smarting a little bit.
Glushenkov, well wide. Housley for the Sabres. Got it out across the line. Antipov tipped it right back in. And a penalty coming up. Foligno, I believe, from the fan reaction and Antipov's reaction. Antipov is doubled over and skating toward the Sabre bench. Well, that was number 25.
I was wrong in thinking this referee would not call a penalty against the Sabres in this building too, but he must have saw something that I didn't see.
I think he just bumped into him, didn't he?
That was not a charging call. The Soviet player went down and put a good act to the play. That was not a charging call.
The man of the moment, Viktor Gubernatorov from the Soviet Union. He is from, I don't know where he's from in the Soviet Union, but I'm sure they'll let him back into the country after the call.
You know, there's an old football coach named Duffy Doherty from Michigan. He said there should be a Hall of Fame for referees because they win a lot of games.
Soviet power play goes into effect. Varnikov across the line, cleared out by the Sabres. 3:34 to play, third period. Svedlov now ahead for Varnikov. They have Yashin with them. Yashin read it wrong and he went the other way. Varnikov to the line with Svedlov on the right side. Svedlov takes the pass and around behind the net for Yashin. And back to Svedlov working out front. They score on the power play. It is 6-4. The line working very effectively again. Varnikov that time, number 22.
Well, if this pass wasn't so hard and crisp, the goal wouldn't have happened. But the Soviet player made a great pass to Varnikov, and the strength of these Soviets is unbelievable. He took this pass and just directed right in, and it was a bullet pass by Svetnov. He just banged it in. Their passing is so good. It's so tough to defend against. Anything else but a crisp, hard pass wouldn't have resulted in a goal. But Svetnov takes the puck, zips it across. The strength of Varnikov on his stick allows him to score the goal. I believe the referee took the Sabres out of it. If the Sabres did have a chance to win, it was taken away by a very iffy call by the referee.
They're down by 2 right now with less than 3 minutes to play. 2:50 on the clock. As Foligno banks it off the boards and ahead for Andreychuk. He couldn't catch up to it. Well, the Soviets now, Popian ahead for Forudinov. Foligno bumped out the puck by Forudinov. Sashov now back behind his own line. Foligno stole it there. Foligno working in, trying to get the shot away. Michigan the save. Foligno is down.
John, I was going to say that I would bet you the Soviets get a penalty before the game's over, but I have to take that back.
Foligno a little distressed about that. He worked hard for the opportunity.
He gets a break here. Foligno keeps plugging away here. Finally goes in. He's hooked. He's interfered with. Cannot get the shot away. The stick is in the gut area. I think that's a hook. It was no worse than the call on Foligno.
Well, the charging call on Foligno was not a very good penalty call at all. Yashin is having a pretty good night. 1 goal, 4 assists, 5 points. Varnikov, 2 goals, 2 assists for 4 points. Svedlov, 1 goal, 1 assist, 2 points. That's the line.
Sure, as we mentioned many times, you had to stop that line to win the hockey game. I know if they played
simpler up here, isn't it? When you
Sure
watch
is.
them up here, you can figure it out so quick.
I know if they played next week sometimes that they'd have to have a checking line on them.
Well, I guess that's been a bit of a problem for the NHL teams. There has not been a lot of time to prepare. Playing the Soviets in the middle of the schedule, they haven't been able to do any scouting reports, something that you would do if you were in an international competition like the Canada Cup with a trophy on the line at the end. Fans are still tossing bits of debris on the ice, so that'll hold up the proceeding here for a little while longer.
The power play goal by the Soviets, I believe, took the opportunity for the Sabres to win away, but there's still 2.5 minutes left and a quick goal here. And
well, the Sabres are angered now. I don't know if that'll help or hinder them. That line of Tucker with Playfair on the left side out there and Perreault on the right wing. There's a penalty coming up. Touchdown there in the other zone by Dunn.
believe it or not, John, the referee did not see that. His back was turned to the play, and I believe the fans called this penalty. But I would have been right. I knew he was going to call a penalty in the last 3 or 4 minutes.
See if we can spot here what is the infraction.
He didn't see it at all. He saw Sabre in the ice and the crowd yelling, therefore penalty.
Shows it pretty clearly on that replay, doesn't it?
Yeah. He didn't want to see it.
Well, the Sabres now have a power play. Let's see if they can get closer and then go for the equalizer with this opportunity. 2:14 to play. And in this game, that's enough to get 2 quick goals. Done for the Sabres. Tried to go a rink wide. It was broken up by Pervukin. Cleared in now by Andrechuk. Sabres on the power play. There's debris down on the ice there. A little dangerous in the Soviet zone. Here's Leonid, or rather Yashin, 13. 1:39 to play as the Sabres dump it in. Andrechuk is after it, 25. Kept in at the line by Housley. Housley plays it over wisely for Dunn. Dunn just dumps it into the corner for Ruff. Tried to feed it out in front for Foligno. And Dunn can't keep it in at the Soviet line. So Housley has to go back to his own blue line. Over for Foligno on the right side. Foligno to the corner, played it around behind the boards, or behind the net rather. Back for Foligno. Gotta get a shot, guys. Out in front, Ruff was there. Andrechuk has it. Andrechuk the shot, Michigan the save. Into the final minute of the period, 44 seconds left in the Soviet penalty. Ramsey around behind the net. This is Housley after it. Ruff left it there for Andrechuk. Andrechuk trying to work out in front. Ruff took a shot. He was off balance.
The goaltender's out for the Sabres, John.
Empty net. And there it goes. Beryanov tips it in to the empty net. And it is 7-4. Some of the debris on the ice cleared into the goal behind Michigan. An American flag has been tossed down as well. And 34 seconds are left on the clock.
Soviets they're just interested in getting it out of their zone. Bouncing puck goes to the left wing and he just directs it into the open net. The Sabres played a lot better in the third period. They created a lot of scoring opportunities, and I can't be, if I was a Sabre, wouldn't be totally disappointed.
19:26, the time of the empty netter.
Michigan made a very good save on Andrechuk just before the open net goal.
was down behind the Soviet goal there. There's still a lot of debris on the ice. They didn't bother to clean much of it up. There's Perreault dumping it into the corner. And the final 26 seconds remaining. Forudinov to the Sabre line and across. Forudinov going in right out in front. The save by Klutye. And it's picked up by Halkidis. This is Tucker. He's checked from behind by Vadianov. Halkidis just out into the central area. And that's the hockey game. 7-4. The visitors beating the Bafffalo Сейбрз. And a hockey game that had just a little bit of everything. Some controversy. The power play goal on the Foligno penalty hurt the Bafffalo Сейбрз in the third period when they were coming on.
Yeah, that hurt them, John, but I think the goal that really killed them was the Pervukin goal. The Sabres had taken the lead 4-3, and they were having a good shift in the Soviet end, and Pervukin was the fifth man. Okay, if they go down and make a great play on a 3-on-3 or something to score a goal, but it's a shame that a fifth man can score a goal in such a close hockey game.
He was the trailing defenseman, and that gave the Soviets the lead, the chance to regain the lead at that stage.
Yeah, especially because the Sabres had something going at that particular time. But the Sabres played much better in the third period, directed a lot more shots at the net, and we're better offensively.
Overall, a pretty good hockey game. A little slow going in the first period, second period with 4 goals, and the third period with lots of excitement, including a brief lead by the Bafffalo Сейбрз. And both goaltenders acquitted themselves well, I thought. Michigan came up with big saves when he had to.
Yeah, he does. He seems to have that ability to let a couple goals in and save it when it counts. I like that in a goaltender.
The Dynamo Sports Club will now present an Outstanding Player of the Game award to a member of each club. Chosen as the outstanding player for the Moscow Dynamo with 1 goal and 4 assists is number 13, Sergei Yashin.
You can hardly argue with that selection.
No, you can't. He very deserving choice right there. Even in the Bruin game, he could have been a deserving choice.
And chosen as the outstanding player of the game for the Bafffalo Сейбрз with 1 goal to number 17, Mike Foligno.
He had a strong game. I quite like the play of John Tucker, though. I think that might have been our choice.
Well, that would have been my choice, John Tucker. He created many of an opportunity in the Soviet end, and but I can't argue with Foligno either. He got involved in the game in the third period, and he's a strong player, Foligno. He's an important player to the Sabres.
I think overall an entertaining evening of hockey.
Let's take a look at the Molson 3 stars from tonight's hockey game. Obviously, star number 1 from the Moscow Dynamo, Sergei Yashin, had 5 assists tonight, deservedly the number 1 star. Number 2 from the Bafffalo Сейбрз, Mike Foligno, scored a goal and was in the hair of the Soviets all night long. And star number 3, Mikhail Varnikov, with 2 goals and an assist. Once again, Sergei Yashin, Mike Foligno, Mikhail Varnikov. Those are the 3 stars of tonight's game. The final score 7-4. We'll be back with more from the Memorial Auditorium in Buffalo right after this.